July 3rd, 2026, Madison Square Garden. 1,000 of the most famous people on the planet are walking into Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding, and every single one of them knows the rules. Strict black tie, no exceptions. Oh, and it's almost 100 degrees outside.
I drove all the way from Indiana to see this wedding, and we were blasting Love Story.
Now here's what made this night so wild for fashion lovers like us. Phones were reportedly locked away inside, which means those few seconds on the sidewalk, that was the whole show. That was the runway, and people made the absolute most of it. One guest showed up in a dress so close to white that the internet accused her of trying to upstage the bride. Another looked so elegant that critics started throwing around the name Audrey Hepburn, and one of Taylor's oldest friends showed up in turquoise paisley and sneakers. Real quick before we start, if you enjoy fashion deep dives like this one, we'd truly love to have you along on this channel. It means the world to us. Okay, let's begin with the very best of the night. Number 1 on the best dressed list, Gigi Hadid. The moment Gigi stepped out of that car, it was like somebody struck a match. Picture a floor-length column of hot, saturated pink, covered top to bottom in thousands of tiny glass beads, catching every single camera flash and throwing the light right back at the photographers. Everyone around her played it safe with neutrals. Gigi showed up looking like pure joy. But the real magic of this dress? You can't even see it. Hidden inside is a corset built with actual metal boning. And the designer, Jackson Wiederhoft, based its shape on, of all things, the body of a wasp. That's why she could stand perfectly still like a statue while all that heavy beading moved around her like liquid. It's engineering disguised as a party dress. And here's the part that really gets me. This gown costs around $14,500, and Gigi wasn't even the first celebrity to wear it. It had already been to the Golden Globes on someone else. It had been to the Emmys on someone else. And after this night, nobody remembers those other times. That's the power of wearing something right. Nearly every fashion editor crowned her the winner, and honestly, they were correct. And now for the biggest scandal of the entire wedding, Tori Evans. So Tori is one of Taylor's longtime backup dancers. She's toured with her for years. She's basically extended family, which is exactly why what happened next hurt so much. She posted a getting ready video from her hotel, rising out of a fluffy robe into a strapless satin ball gown with a huge princess skirt. Gorgeous, right? There was just one tiny problem. On camera, that dress looked white, not blush, not cream, white, bridal white. And the shape, strapless sweetheart neckline, enormous full skirt. That's not just any silhouette. That is literally the shape of a wedding gown. The internet noticed within minutes. You wore white? She looks like the bride. I would have kicked her out. The comments just kept coming. And then her husband jumped in to defend her, and his entire argument came down to one word: lighting. He insisted the dress was actually a shade called pink champagne, and everybody just didn't understand how cameras work. Yeah, that excuse became a meme all by itself. Here's the lesson, and every etiquette expert said the same thing that week. It doesn't matter what color the dress is in real life. If it can be mistaken for white in a photo, you change the dress. Period. And you know who understood that perfectly? Oprah. She reportedly had her own outfit altered overnight after realizing it might photograph too close to white. That, my friends, is the difference experience makes. Number 3, Selena Gomez. And I already know half of you would put her at number 1. Think about the position Selena was in. She's the bride's best friend. She has to look absolutely stunning, but she can never, not for 1 second, compete with Taylor. That is the hardest styling assignment in that entire building. And she didn't just solve it once, she solved it twice. For the rehearsal dinner, she went with a strapless black Oscar de la Renta gown, handcrafted floral lace, a thigh-high slit, pure old Hollywood restraint. Then for the wedding itself, she came back in a fitted champagne-colored gown, absolutely dripping in glass beads and crystal fringe. One editor said it shimmered like a mirror ball on the dance floor. And that's exactly right. Every single step she took sent little sparks of light dancing across the room. The sleek little bob, the soft makeup, the diamonds, nothing was fighting for attention, and that's exactly why everything glowed. And here's a detail I love. Fans were so convinced her dress was a secret clue about who designed Taylor's gown that it became a whole theory online. It wasn't true, but that tells you how closely the world watches this woman. The comment section said it best. Grace Kelly, Audrey Hepburn, pure class, head to toe. Number 4, Camila Cabello. And oh boy, Camila arrived in a bright arterial red lace gown. Off the shoulders, big billowing sleeves, plunging neckline, and here's the kicker, a completely see-through skirt. fully sheer, legs visible with every single step. She finished it all off with a black choker and a diamond cross hanging from it. Now, let me be fair for a second. As a piece of craftsmanship, the lace itself is genuinely beautiful. But fashion isn't just about the dress, it's about where you wear it. Red is already the one color the etiquette books warn wedding guests about because it pulls every eye in the room straight to you. So a see-through red gown at a black tie wedding, the reaction was instant and it was brutal. Tacky, especially for a wedding. And my personal favorite, no, baby girl, no. A few people defended her, saying celebrity weddings play by different rules. Maybe, but here's what makes it sting a little more. Camila opened for Taylor's Reputation tour. She knows this world inside and out. And hold that thought, because in a few minutes, you're going to meet another guest who also wore bright red to this exact same wedding and got applauded for it. The difference between them comes down to one tiny detail. Wait till you hear it. Number 5, Jennifer Lopez. And we need to talk about this one honestly, because it split households right down the middle. Here's what she wore. A fitted black velvet bodice flowing down into this dramatic, high-shine metallic skirt, a black velvet headband sitting over a glossy chignon, and 2 tiers of floral diamonds at her throat. The fashion critics practically fainted. The comparison was everywhere within hours. Audrey Hepburn. That headband, that silhouette, that 50s couture shape. She looked like she'd walked out of a black and white movie and into Madison Square Garden. And the designer choice was genuinely classy too. Instead of some giant fashion house, she picked Bach Mai, a young up-and-coming talent, and handed him the spotlight of the decade. The trick that made it all work is texture. Matte velvet on top, soaking up the light, gleaming metallic skirt below, throwing it back. She looked expensive from every angle without wearing a single sequin. But, and you already know the but, don't you? Black velvet. At a summer wedding in July. Half the audience took one look and said, "You do not wear black to a wedding." Some even called it funeral dressing. The other half said black tie means black is always elegant. And honestly, J.Lo dresses for the photograph, not the thermometer. So which side are you on? Genuinely, tell me in the comments because this debate is nowhere near settled. Number 6, and this one is every wedding guest's actual nightmare, come to life in front of the whole world. Let me set the scene. Abigail Anderson is Taylor Swift's childhood best friend. We're talking friends since high school, decades of history. She arrives in this romantic corseted gown, floral printed bodice, chocolate brown satin skirt. It's lovely. It fits the garden vibe. She's feeling great. And then Laura Kruk walks in. She's the fiancée of an NFL player, and she is wearing the exact same dress. Out of 1,000 guests, at a wedding overflowing with custom couture, 2 women showed up in the same off-the-rack gown, reportedly about $800, and yes, you could just buy it online. So of course the internet did what the internet always does. It held a trial, side-by-side photos everywhere, comment sections voting on who wore it better. The verdict mostly went to Abigail, whose warmer styling matched the dress's earthy, romantic mood. But here's my favorite part of this whole disaster. The retailer selling the dress saw the chaos unfolding and jumped straight into it, posting, and I quote, "Yes, these are the wedding guest dresses everyone's talking about. Shop the link." They turned the most embarrassing fashion moment of the year into a marketing campaign. You genuinely cannot write this stuff. Number 7, Sabrina Carpenter. Sabrina showed up looking like she'd stepped straight out of a 19th century romance novel. And I mean that as the highest possible compliment. Sheer black lace bodice over a nude lining, delicate little cap sleeves, a waist cinched within an inch of its life, and then this enormous, dreamy skirt of black tulle. And right at the center of it all, one single pale pink silk rose with long black ribbons trailing down the front. That little pink rose is the entire story of this look. All that dark, dramatic lace, and then one soft, sweet flower cutting right through it. From across the room, it reads as classic. Up close, it's daring. That balance is incredibly hard to pull off, and she made it look effortless. But here's the detail that made fashion insiders respect her even more, and it has nothing to do with the dress itself. Sabrina is a Dior girl. That's practically her signature house. It's what she wears everywhere. And Taylor's wedding gown? Dior. So Sabrina quietly stepped aside and went with a different designer entirely, leaving Dior to the bride and the bride alone. One writer put it perfectly, that's not fashion, that's manners. Number 8, Ed Sheeran. Let's remember the assignment here. Strict black tie. The men were told, classic tuxedos, black bow ties, the whole thing. Now, Ed Sheeran is one of Taylor's oldest friends in the business. He opened her Red Tour way back in 2012. So what did this dear, longtime friend wear to her black tie wedding? A bright turquoise paisley suit with a plain white t-shirt underneath and Tiffany blue sneakers. I wish I were making this up. One critic said he looked like a cruise ship lounge singer. The internet immediately went somewhere even funnier. those infamous powder blue tuxedos from Dumb and Dumber. The jokes did not stop for days. And look, everybody loves Ed. There's almost something charming about a man that famous who simply refuses to be uncomfortable. But here's the thing, this wasn't a backyard barbecue. When your friend of 15 years sets a black tie dress code for the biggest wedding of the decade, showing up in aqua paisley and sneakers isn't quirky. It's just ignoring the invitation. Sorry, Ed, we still love the music. The suit, not so much. Number 9, Gracie Abrams. And here it is, that red dress lesson I promised you. Gracie arrived in a slinky gown of cherry red crystals, draped neckline, completely open back, and beading that shifted shades as she moved, like light passing through crushed rubies. She kept everything else quiet, sleek bob, barely their makeup, almost no jewelry. She let the dress do all the talking. So, hold on. Camila wore red and got roasted alive. Gracie wore red and got a standing ovation. What on earth is the difference? One tiny detail. The lipstick. Think about it. What is Taylor Swift's single most famous signature? The red lip. So when Gracie, who is Taylor's own tourmate and collaborator, shows up in an elegant, fully lined cherry red, it doesn't read as competing with the bride. It reads as a love letter to the bride. Same color as Camila, completely opposite message. That's how razor thin the line is in wedding guest fashion. It's never just what you wear, it's what it says. Oh, and one more thing about this dress, because the backstory is wild. It comes from Chanel's newest collection, which debuted on the platform of an abandoned New York subway station. From a subway platform to the wedding of the century, not a bad journey for one dress. Number 10, Fergie. And this one genuinely broke the fashion critics in half. Underneath everything, Fergie may have been wearing the single most valuable garment of any guest that night. Her gold gown was reportedly archival Dior from the John Galliano era. And if that's true, we're talking about the kind of vintage that lives in museums and private vaults, the kind stylists would fight each other to borrow. One outlet took a look and gushed, "Now that's GLAMOROUS." So how did she end up on the worst list? 2 words, the shawl. Draped over that magnificent gown was this enormous black wrap, trailing giant pom-poms all the way down to the pavement. One critic compared it to, and I'm quoting directly, the crinkled plastic streamers hanging from the ceiling of every senior prom. Another outlet just posted her photo with a sweating face emoji. Because remember, this was the hottest night of a New York heatwave, and she's dragging a floor-length winter wrap behind her. Add a hem that clearly needed tailoring, and a potential triumph turned into a debate, which is really the lesson here, isn't it? You can be wearing a museum piece, an actual piece of fashion history, and the wrong accessory will bury it alive. Number 11, Karlie Kloss. And this one comes with a story that has nothing to do with fabric. For years, the internet was absolutely convinced that Taylor and Karlie's famous friendship was over. Nobody knew what happened.
I'd like to know what's going on between Karlie Kloss and Taylor Swift.
But the rumors ran so deep that when Karlie showed up at this wedding, fans were genuinely shocked she was even on the guest list. And she didn't just show up, she arrived in a strapless column of liquid champagne gold, with a twisted bodice that caught the light from every possible angle. She looked like a statuette that had been poured, not dressed. Matching clutch, barely any jewelry, and then one deliberate, unmissable pop of contrast. A bold red lip, Taylor's signature, on the friend everyone said was gone. One editor looked at all the gold gowns that night and simply declared, Kloss did it best. And here's a little detail that makes it even sweeter. Karlie knows couture from the inside. Her own wedding gown, back in 2018, was Dior Haute Couture that took 700 hours and 10 couturiers to build. The dress was beautiful, but the message, showing up, glowing, wearing the bride's red lip after 7 years of rumors, that was the real statement. Sometimes fashion says the things words can't. Number 12, Travis Kelce's longtime friend. And this one actually hurts a little because here's the thing, the idea was sweet, genuinely sweet. Ross wore a maroon suit with a black bow tie, and the Swifties spotted the reference immediately. Maroon, one of Taylor's most beloved songs. This man hid a tribute to the bride inside the color of his suit. That's thoughtful. That's the kind of detail we usually celebrate on this channel. And then he got dressed from the neck up. A beret and round, wire-rimmed sunglasses. Indoors, at a formal wedding. Critics immediately compared the whole thing to John Travolta's much-mocked beret phase, and just like that, a clever tribute collapsed into what one writer called a cliché filmmaker costume. It's honestly the perfect case study. The suit? Fine. The color? Smart. The intention? Lovely. But formal wear has one iron rule, And tonight we're going to see it broken twice. When in doubt, take the hat off. Number 13, Dakota Johnson. And I genuinely need your help settling this one. Here's the situation. The professional fashion critics adored this look. She wore a black halter gown from Valentino, a floaty, sheer overlay drifting over a solid slip underneath, a thigh-high slit, little bow front heels, a studded clutch. One magazine straight up crowned her best-dressed guest and held her up as the masterclass in how to do the sheer trend correctly. Transparent enough for drama, lined enough for grace. But then there's the rest of us. Regular viewers looked at the same dress and saw something completely different. The comment sections filled up with words like shapeless, forgettable, and a few comparisons I won't repeat, but let's just say Walmart came up. A lot of people felt that standing next to all those beaded, structured couture gowns, a floaty sheer midi just looked underdressed for the wedding of the decade. So, who's right? The critics or the crowd? I'll be honest, this might be the single most divisive guest look of the entire night, which is exactly why it's on this list. Drop your verdict below. I'm genuinely curious which way this audience leans. Number 14, Zoe Kravitz. And she did something nobody else dared to do. Every other woman at this wedding wore a floor-length gown. Every single one. Zoe Kravitz wore a mini dress to a black tie wedding. And somehow, she walked out as one of the chicest people in that entire building. So how do you pull that off? Here's the secret. The dress was a knee-length sheer black shift over a nude slip with a high neck, 3/4 sleeves, and delicate floral beadwork sparkling all over it. Do you see what she did? The hemline broke one rule, but everything else followed the rules twice as hard. Full coverage up top, serious craftsmanship, chandelier diamond earrings adding all the height and grandeur a short hem takes away. That's the move. If you're going to break one rule, you'd better be flawless on every other one. And the fashion insiders lost their minds over one more detail. The little satin bag she carried from the row. Completely sold out after the photos hit the internet. One headline summed the whole night up. Zoe Kravitz says yes, you can absolutely wear a mini dress to a wedding. Apparently you can, if you're Zoe Kravitz. Number 15, Ryan Fitzpatrick. And gentlemen, here we go again. The former NFL quarterback actually arrived in a genuinely good suit. The tailoring was solid, and he'd done something sweet. He color coordinated with his wife Liza, whose emerald green gown was praised as one of the loveliest of the whole night. The problem was sitting on top of his head, a low-profile top hat, which, paired with his green tie, tipped the entire look into what one critic memorably called Lucky the Leprechaun territory. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. One hat. That is all it took to transform a well-dressed man into a cereal mascot at the wedding of the decade. Meanwhile, his wife, in that emerald gown, was described as a pot of gold. So the color story worked beautifully for exactly one of them. And that makes it official. Twice in one night. Berets, top hats? Novelty headwear is the single riskiest accessory in all of formal fashion. When in doubt, leave the hat at home, please. Number 16, Joey King. And this, right here, is what doing your homework looks like. By all accounts, the inside of Madison Square Garden had been transformed into a secret garden. Guests describe floral arches, greenery everywhere, basically an enchanted forest built inside a basketball arena. And Joey King dressed like she'd read that memo twice and taken notes. Her gown started as the simplest thing imaginable, a sleek black halter column, perfectly tailored, nothing flashy. But then, climbing up the skirt and winding across the bodice were these three-dimensional metallic vines and embroidered flowers, like a garden slowly reclaiming the dress. Under the lights, all that metallic thread glinted gold, echoed perfectly by her gold heels. And that's such a smart needle to thread, if you think about it. Wear a big, loud floral print to a wedding filled with actual flowers, and you clash with the decor. You basically become wallpaper. But metallic embroidery on a clean black base, that's honoring the theme while still standing apart from it. Critics called it one of the prettiest floral looks of the entire weekend. The Fashion Honors Student of the Night. Number 17, Tate McRae. And this was the boldest gamble of the whole night. 23-year-old pop star Tate McRae didn't buy something new for this wedding. She went digging into fashion history instead and pulled out a genuine archival Valentino gown from 2002. A dress that's older than some of her own fans. Metallic gold, plunging neckline, this tiered skirt of softly gathered panels flowing all the way down. Now the fashion purists love the idea. Wearing real archival couture is a flex. It says you know your history, and the sustainability crowd applauds it too. Her fans flooded the comments with, "This color on you, oh my goodness." But the general audience, they were considerably less kind. Those gathered gold tears reminded some viewers of, and I'm quoting an actual comment here, the skirt they put around old sinks to hide the pipes. Others said it looked like a prom dress from 2004 that should have stayed in 2004. And that right there is the eternal risk of vintage. One person's archival treasure is another person's time capsule that should have stayed buried. A gamble, respectfully taken, that split the room right down the middle. But honestly, I'd rather see more guests willing to gamble. Number 18, Erin Andrews. And before anything else, let's get her name right. Quick correction that matters, because several roundups of this wedding got this wrong and viewers were rightly annoyed. Some channels confused Erin Andrews with her friend and fellow sportscaster Charissa Thompson. Both women were there. Both looked wonderful. But this is Erin Andrews, attending with her husband, former NHL player Jarrett Stoll. Two different women, two different dresses, and both deserve their own credit. And Erin has definitely earned hers, because her look was one of the quietest triumphs of the whole night. A shimmering black halter gown from Gucci's newest collection, and fun fact, it's one of the only guest looks of the night with a rock-solid confirmation straight from the fashion trade press. No gimmicks, no dramatic train, no theatrics of any kind, just classic Hollywood lines, flawless tailoring, and the confidence to let the cut do all the work. Here's the thing about a room drowning in sequins and sheer fabric. Restraint starts to read as power. One critic simply called the gown gorgeous and moved on. And honestly, sometimes the best review a dress can get is having nothing to argue about. Number 19, Simone Biles. The greatest gymnast of all time showed up dressed like a modern gladiator. And I don't say that lightly. A metallic burgundy halter gown, covered in rows of circular metal grommets, with this huge asymmetrical train of dark tulle sweeping behind her, and walking right beside her, her husband Jonathan Owens in a burgundy velvet tuxedo, coordinated down to the last thread. As a couple, one of the best color stories of the entire night. The dress itself, though, the internet went to war over it. Supporters called it one of the most unforgettable looks of the evening. Bold, futuristic, unlike literally anything else on that sidewalk. Critics fired back that the tulle train looked tacked on at the last minute. And some people even said all those clustered metal grommets made them genuinely uncomfortable to look at. But honestly, the dress wasn't even the best thing Simone wore that night. When some troll online questioned why she was even invited, she ended the entire conversation with one sentence: "I only show y'all what I want y'all to know." And that, friends, was the real gold medal performance of the evening. Wear whatever you want when you can shut down an argument that cleanly. Number 20, Natalia Bryant, and this one might just get you a little emotional. Kobe and Vanessa Bryant's eldest daughter arrived in a strapless, powder blue floor-length gown, dotted with delicate little rosettes. Soft, age-appropriate, quietly perfect. But it's the color that carried the message, because at a wedding, blue isn't just blue. It's the traditional something blue, a 23-year-old guest offering the bride an old-fashioned blessing, woven right into her dress. No sheer fabric, no shock value, no fighting for attention, just a young woman, raised with extraordinary grace, honoring the occasion the traditional way. Even Khloe Kardashian couldn't help leaving an admiring comment when the photos surfaced. And after everything we've been through on this list, the sequins, the scandals, the berets, the see-through lace, there's something almost moving about the simplest idea of the night landing this beautifully. Sometimes the sweetest statement in the room is also the quietest one. And now, the dress everyone actually came here to see, or rather, the dress nobody has seen. Because here's the extraordinary truth. As I'm recording this, a full week after the wedding, not one single official photograph of Taylor Swift's wedding gown has been released. Think about that. In an age where nothing stays secret for more than 5 minutes, the most photographed bride on the planet kept her dress completely hidden from the world. So what do we actually know? Confirmed through her own publicist, Taylor wore bespoke Christian Dior haute couture, designed by Jonathan Anderson. And this is a genuine piece of fashion history because it's the very first couture wedding gown he has ever created for a world-famous bride. Custom Christian Louboutin shoes, Cartier jewelry, and Travis matched her in custom Dior as well. Reportedly, a white tuxedo, which is a statement all its own. A groom in head-to-toe white couture isn't standing behind his bride. He's standing beside her, as her equal. Everything beyond that? Rumors. Anonymous guests whispered about a train that looked to be 25 feet long, an off-the-shoulder neckline, even a second dress for the reception. None of it confirmed. And when reporters cornered Jonathan Anderson himself, all he would give them was this: "It was a joy to work with her. We became very good friends. It's an emotional thing doing someone's wedding. Dior has confirmed that Taylor herself will release the first official images whenever she decides the world is ready, which means the biggest fashion reveal of the decade is still coming. So there you have it, a $14,000 pink gown with a secret corset, 2 women trapped in the very same dress, a friendship healed in liquid gold, and a wedding gown the entire world is still waiting to see. One night gave us more fashion drama than most award seasons manage in a year. Now I want to hear from you. Who is your best dressed? Gigi's hot pink, Selena's old Hollywood glamour, or someone I ranked far too low? And be honest with me, whose look made you gasp for all the wrong reasons? The comments are wide open. And with this audience, I already know the opinions are going to be good. And listen, the moment Taylor releases those official gown photos, we will be breaking down every single stitch, right here. If you'd like to be here when that happens, we'd be so glad to have you along. Thanks so much for watching. And remember, at any wedding, the best dressed guest is always the one who remembered whose day it really was.